Hello and I welcome you all on behalf of Medical World for You India. So in today's video we are going to focus on the doctors and clinicians who are willing to give a high quality care to their patients. We'll also talk about NABH accreditations. You know that NABH accreditations are part of Quality Council of India, and we look forward for those accreditations in terms to improve the quality standards in our practices and in terms to actually get a certification from NABH. So to discuss all about those things, we have a very special guest, Miss Sushma Singh. Miss Sushma Singh is having a rich and diversified experience of more than 13 years into operation quality and businesses. She has worked with many reputed hospital and organizations like Max Hospital, Metro Heart Hospital, Primus Hospital, Rockland Hospital, Apollo Hospital, Venkateshwara Hospital, New Delhi. She is holding a master's degree in hospital administration from reputed university ICFAI. She is also pursuing her MBA in Healthcare Administration from 65-year-old premier institute of the country, Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi. She is also holding a certificate in the JCI Way, the Joint Commission International. It is one of the reputed accreditation body known internationally. She has also done a program on implementation of NABH standards for hospitals under Quality Council of India. She is an organ transplant coordinator also. So with such a high quality standard educations and experience in quality in healthcare system, we would like to discuss about NABH accreditations, how to do it and what is the procedure can be followed by small clinicians like dental clinics or small nursing homes or small hospitals to get those accreditations and improve the quality standards of their practices. So I welcome Ms. Sushma Singh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tomar. And it is my privilege to share the screen with you on this platform. And this is a great topic, NABH and quality and accreditation, of course. And I would like to first of all say that before initiating any kind of discussion or any session, we must know why are we here. So I would like to preamble first of all that why are we here, why even this discussion is that important, and why we should be talking about quality and lot of accreditation process in India. So my submission to this is like the environment in this era is so much of complex, and I would like to say that for an example, if we take the example of healthcare itself, in beginning there was just a doctor sitting in the clinic. He used to see the patient. Whenever that patient entered the hospital or the clinic, he used to see the patient, he used to receive the patient, he used to do the physical examination, thereafter writing prescription, and then giving the diet or advice also at the same time. But exactly. What happened, gradually we developed so much, we came into the modern society, and that is good. Not only in healthcare, in all the industries, we have developed so much. That is good for us, but as well as every coin has the other side as well. So we developed so much of complexity also in our healthcare process. So now in this era, we are aware that how are we practicing? We are having the front office personnel to receive the patient whenever the patient is coming to us. Then there is the nursing pool to do the initial assessment before beginning the treatment. Then doctor writes the prescription. Then he refers the patient to dietitian for dietary advice. Thereafter, that patient goes from the hospital. So we ourselves have created so much of complexity with added advantage of interdependence. But at the same time, we need to be very, very careful. If we would actually like to manage our patients well and achieve great satisfaction, then definitely this quality and accreditation will play a greater role. So that is the reason in this era we are discussing so much of quality, accreditation, and we are focusing on all such standards.
So Ms. Sushma, can you tell me what exactly the accreditation is? And if somebody like me is having a small clinic, is planning to go for an accreditation, how can he start with that? And what exactly it is? Just a basic question before starting.
Yeah, that is the great question. But before that, I would like to say that we have accreditation, like simply the accreditation word means like the external review of quality from the external peer of group, from the accreditation body, right? So nationally, we have NABH from Quality Council of India for our healthcare processes. And internationally, if we look for accreditation, we go for JCI, right? So that way we have NABH from Quality Council of India.
So, what are the benefits of accreditations? Maybe in terms of patients or healthcare organizations or third parties, what are the benefits of these accreditation are? Exactly.
If whenever we talk about quality or accreditation, the bigger and greater beneficiary is our patient, because the patient is the in most vulnerable category. When they come to our hospital, they are in the vulnerable category. They surrender themselves to us to be treated well, and if our quality system is in place and that is very robust, then definitely they are the greater beneficiary for that. And coming to the healthcare organizations, of course, the community confidence is very high if you have accreditations or certain type of quality standards in your hospital. So definitely, if they see the NABH logo in your hospital, they trust you that some category, at least bare minimum facilities and quality standard will be there. So that kind of confidence you gain. Coming to the third parties, a lot of third parties like the insurance companies, even CGHS, ECHS, and all the insurance companies, they believe on NABH. So
Correct.
they always look for NABH. There are 100-paged formats they are giving to the organizations to fulfill if you would like to be empaneled with them. But if
Correct.
simply you attach one NABH certificate, they trust you that yes, certain parameters are there which are covered under NABH. You are complying on that. Otherwise, NABH has given one more way to do it. If you are not getting complete NABH certification or accreditation program, they have the different QCI like CGHS or ECHS specific QCI assessments. So that is again less extensive than the full-fledged accreditation program. So you can apply for that also. So these are for those organizations which are not which are under process to get the NABH complete program. So they go for QCI independent assessment specific to CGHS empanelment or ECHS empanelment. Again, there is the same way application criteria, and they will come, there will be the assessment, and then they will give you the clearance that yes, you are fit for empanelment and you can receive that. So that is also there. And in NABH also we have so many accreditation programs. Like they have divisions for the larger hospitals NABH program, in which more than 50 beds hospitals category can apply and get the accreditations. But in India, we have more than 90% of hospitals which are having less than 100 beds. So we can say that yes, NABH has also understood this issue, and they have also developed small healthcare organizations standards, and we have the NABH standards for that. So if we can talk about standards of NABH, it gives you the broadly like 10 chapters which are divided into two parts, like 5 are patient centric and 5 chapters are management centric. So it covers overall entire hospital, entire organization to go for accreditation, right? Which covers all the objective elements related to healthcare processes. So for a small healthcare program, I would say they have a standard which is available for I think 1500 rupees plus GST. So that can be taken from the NABH. That is the first step to begin with accreditation program. Thereafter, the NABH has come a long way itself, and there all the processes are digitized now. So you can go online for everything, like for application process, for uploading your processes and policies, for all the licenses and legal requirements. You can upload all your documents to the website, and thereafter your application will be scrutinized by the NABH, and if there is any non-conformity, they will let you know, and then you can again fulfill those requirements, and thereafter you can begin. So this is the basic thing to go for a small healthcare organization's accreditation program. But what I would like to say that this is little less extensive than the bigger hospitals program. But let's be very clear that the chapters are same 10 chapters are applicable in the bigger hospitals program as well as in the small healthcare organizations accreditation program. So there is no leeway from that. So we have all the chapters in place. Of course, the objective elements are little less in these hospitals, so that can be prepared. If we talk about timeline, so we can just figure out, like recent in last 2-3 months, the NABH has again developed a new thing, that is they have made the pre-assessment optional. Otherwise, in traditional way, what used to happen was we need to apply for the NABH, then they will give you the pre-assessment date. Thereafter, you need to again, submit the non-conformities closure report. Thereafter, they will give you the final assessment date. And then after again closing the NC's report, you would receive the NABH certificate. But now NABH has given the better option that if you are feeling so confident that you are ready and your standards are absolutely in place, then you can skip the pre-assessment process and directly go for the final assessment. So that way you can save your time also.
Exactly.
Right. So for to begin with any small healthcare organization's accreditation program, my advice is to go for at least 3 months planning and process development period. Thereafter, implement your processes and monitor for 3 months. In between, simultaneously, you can apply also on the NABH website. But why 3 months implementation is very important? Because whenever NABH people will come, the assessors will come, they should have something to review. So for that matter, at least 3 months record will be available, and 3 months look back period is there for a small healthcare organization. So you should estimate like 6 months time, 3 months for developing the processes, 3 months for implementation, and thereafter you can invite NABH for assessment, and that can be pre-assessment as well as final assessment depending on your preparation and planning. So that can be done.
So you have talked about pre-assessment. I mean, I just wanted you to just categorize the important things. That suppose I don't have any key with me, what are the documents is needed? I mean, what exactly the things I should start with? Shall I start taking up the consent forms or the record of the patient? What are the basic things I want to start? Can you just tell me? And second question is that can a small clinic which just provide a daycare facility, I mean just like dental clinics, they treat the patients and the patient goes away, they don't have any hospital beds, can they go for accreditations, or we have to have beds, 50 beds and all those things before planning for an accreditation of any small clinics or hospital?
Yeah. Sure. Let me come to one by one. For small healthcare organizations, first of all, small healthcare organizations and dental facilities accreditation program is absolutely different. There are different standards for that. And for a small healthcare organization, if we talk about developing all the processes and policies and even the forms and formats, so see, it will completely, it will be depending on the objective elements and chapters and standards. Right. So we will have to go by chapter to chapter and standard to standard. We will have to read all the objective elements, understand the intent of the standard, and thereafter we need to develop the policies and procedures. Like policies, we very well know that what is to be done, and procedures are like how is to be done. And thereafter, based on that, if you will be able to figure out what is to be done and how is to be done, then you will be able to develop the forms and formats to comply all those things. Right. So that way we can develop those things, and there is no hard and fast rule that 100 or 200 forms will suffice. It will be absolutely, dependent on your requirement, that how are you going to capture all these things. Because hospital to hospital and clinic to clinic, it varies always. You should
the standards
only be
the standards you're talking about.
Yes. So you should be only focusing on the compliance on the standards, what standard is exactly saying. One hospital can develop 3 formats out of one standard only, and the other hospital can, fulfill all the requirements in one single format. So that can be done. Only the focus should be on compliance on the standards. So that can be done. And coming to your second question, that is dental facility. That is again absolutely the different accreditation program, where the NABH has given 2 types of categorization for assessment criteria. So in first category, there is the dental facility, which can be surveyed for NABH accreditation associated with the hospital. So that can again be, bifurcated in two parts, with inpatient facility and without inpatient facilities. So that can be done. And there is the second categorization, that is only for the dental clinics, where it will be dependent on the chairs, the number of chairs. Like if you have 3 chairs, the assessment criteria and assessment even fee will be different, and the assessment mandates will be different. Like if in the dental facility, if 2 mandates is recommended, then for lower limit of and the less number of dental chair, there will be only 1 mandate assessment. So that kind of categorization is there. Again, the standard is available for 1500 plus GST only from NABH. And the same way, 10 chapters are there, again with the reduced number of objective elements and focused on dental facility only. So that is there. But yes, it will focus completely on the all the chapters, like even the access assessment and continuity of care, then the care of patient. The medication topic will also be covered. The infection control parameter is very, very important for quality and safety. So that chapter is there. So that way, all 10 chapters are there in this program as well. But there are different and segregated, specialized certification programs for all small healthcare organizations as well as dental facilities.
Okay, fair enough. You're talking about that we can purchase the online, the booklet. So can we have a link of that? I mean, definitely I would like to share with my viewers, and share with this particular video itself only. Well, on telephonic discussion, we are discussing something about the new things which has come in NABH. You was talking about something. So can you just enlighten about that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, NABH has its existence since 2006, and it has also improved a lot in itself in NABH program. So we can say that yes, earlier there was the accreditation validity was for the cycle was for 3 years. So recently, in last 2 months, the NABH has announced that now for new cycle from 2021, they have revised it to 4 years, and the NABH cycle has become 4 years. And the assessment, the surveillance assessment used to happen between 12 to 18 months, which has, again moved to 2 years. So if the accreditation cycle is for 4 years, then of course the surveillance happens between after completing the 2 years of time. So that is one change. Second, I have already discussed that they have made the pre-assessment process optional, that if you are feeling so confident and if you are prepared well, then you can directly go for final assessment. So that is the second change. Then they have made many other changes in the 5th edition, which they have recently launched for full-fledged hospital program, which is applicable for more than 50 beds hospitals, which we are also complying right now. So in that, they have reduced the standards from 105 to 100. And again, the objective elements have been reduced from 683 to 650. So these they have done. Also, what they have done, they have completely changed the scoring system. Earlier, NABH used to score on the 0, 5 and 10. 0 means non-compliance, 5 means partial compliance, and 10 means fully compliant. So that they have again changed, and they have started with the 1 to 5 point scale scoring system. That seems to little lighter, but that is again very, very tough. So now the assessment will be more rigorous and more specific. Yes, because they will be categorizing with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and only if you achieve 4, it means 80%. Then only you are fit for NABH accreditation. Otherwise, not. So that kind of scoring system they have devised. Also, they have categorized. Earlier, what used to happen was, if you are the student who would like to get only 40%, who is satisfied with the 40% of a score in every exam, so that was okay with NABH. But now they have changed. What they have done is, in final assessment, you should be complying, and that is the bare minimum. which will be named as commitment level. When you are showing the commitment that yes, you are ready to implement all the NABH standards and you will be following it. So that is the commitment level. So that can be done on 80%. But when they will be coming for surveillance assessment after 2 years of accreditation, then they will rate you on the achievement level. So you will have to, climb the commitment from the commitment level to achievement level. And there are standards which are again categorized in the book, that these standards and objective elements are of achievement level. So if you were not very good at the time of final assessment on those standards, you need to improve on that till the time surveillance comes. So that is achievement level. And when the reaccreditation happens after 4 years, then you will have to, achieve excellence level. So there are stepwise, scoring system. Still, again, the cumulative calculations are there. Earlier, it was not. So those changes are there. So that is, in a way, it is good also. Like it should not be like you have achieved one certificate and you will be retaining it for years and years. And again, you will be, only awake when assessment comes, and then you will start preparing for it. You will pass the exam and again forget about it. So this is not the case now. So NABH has also made so many changes, and which is good.
That's nice. That's now, we were hearing about the Clinical Establishment Act. That act is also talking about the minimum standard guidelines. So I just wanted to ask one question, that those minimum standard guidelines are enough for NABH accreditation, or NABH demand more for that? And what exactly will your submission on that particular thing?
See, if we talk about all the regulatory requirements, again, I would say that regulations and accreditations are two different things. Regulations are absolutely mandatory, which you will have to follow, and accreditation is voluntary. So NABH doesn't impose on you that you'll have to have NABH. It is your wish to take NABH and follow quality standards. But regulations are mandatory. You will have to have those. But definitely when NABH comes, NABH requires certain compliance on regulations also. Like NABH will not write that you will have to follow clinical establishment. They will just write that whatever acts and laws and regulations are applicable to your hospital as per this, your state, your country, you will have to abide by that. So that way, there is a long list for legal compliance and all the acts and regulations compliance, that you will have to have all those. Then only NABH will, give you the clearance on statutory compliances. Correct. So there is no way to skip these things.
I got it. I mean, regulations and accreditations are totally different thing. I mean, regulation are mandatory, accreditation it's your choice. That I totally understand. So you have talked about roughly how much time it takes to get an accreditation. So can a clinician or a doctor who are running a hospital or a small clinic can help for other parties, like some private parties, to get them help, and what kind of assessment and what kind of estimate he can take for a complete accreditation process? I mean, if we are planning to, because as a clinician, not more people and not more doctors are knowing exactly what to do, because it is partially management thing and partially related to a doctor. So what is your take on that? Shall we go for certain private parties to prepare us for this particular thing, and what is the estimate for that? If you can talk about that.
That is absolutely the organization's choice, that what they would like to do. Because if you have some time to devote on your accreditation program and planning, and if you can hire somebody who can look after complete your quality, which in anyways, if you are going for accreditation program, that is a mandatory requirement to have a quality person in your organization. So if that person can devote time and get in touch with NABH, then there are all the information.
Quality person is mandatory for the small clinics also. We are talking about that. You have talked about that separate.
Yes, you will have to designate someone who is responsible to monitor and implement the quality related standards in the organization. So that person will have to be identified.
Okay.
No problem. There is no problem at all. If some clinician would like to play the dual role and would like to become a quality person, that is fair enough. But you'll have to have one personnel who is designated as quality manager or quality control officer. So that
Okay.
is mandatory. And for help, I would say that NABH is there. NABH has given the complete defined and all the even the information brochure is there. Everything is available. Still, if you are looking for help from outside, then there are consulting services also available, which companies are, helping in the organizations to receive the accreditation. They will handhold you since beginning to receiving the accreditation, as well as if you wish, they can handhold for sustainability of your accreditation certification. Like in this scenario, it is very, very important. It is not the one-time story. So you will have to have sustainability as well as improvement on day to day.
I hope you have answered most of the question which queries I have, what my viewers are having. So at last, I want to ask that any submission which has we might have missed, you want to add on to this particular discussion. So if you can talk about that.
For that, I think I would like to put one question forward to you, that what is your expectation as a patient if you come to my hospital to get treated? What level of satisfaction level are you looking for? Like 80, 90, 100, what kind of expectations you have?
Since we are talking about healthcare, everyone wants the 100% quality care in terms of your health, because health is a thing which we don't give to anybody like that only. We are going to a doctor and we are going to a
Absolutely.
hospital. We want that compliance to be 100% and the commitment should be 100%. And if accreditations give that particular thing and somebody is to look after that, that is a great thing. I mean, I can be much more satisfied to go a hospital which is having NABH or these kind of accreditations. Definitely, as
Right,
a patient.
right. Absolutely. You answered my question, Dr. Tomar, because I would say that in this modern era, we have two news, one good, one bad. So
Right.
the good news is, like, our clientele is aware and alert, and they value our accreditation and quality system, right?
Right.
Because they understand the importance of these quality parameters, and that is why they value it. And
Right.
at the same time, there is a bad news. Since they understand and value so much of quality system, they have become so much of demanding. They have the expectations like you have, 100% even beyond that. So that kind of expectations we are facing every day, that they at times they also give so much of suggestions that you should improve on this, you should have this. If you are in the preparatory phase for NABH, they will suggest you many times that why don't you get NABH or NABL? This is so famous. Other hospitals are NABH. Why don't you get? So that
Correct.
kind of awareness and alertness we see in the our patients category, and that is very nice also. But at the same time, you are on the very demanding positions, and you are on the
Correct.
position where you will have to fulfill so much of demand of the patients, which is good. So
Correct.
my submission for quality is one particular total quality management definition is sufficient for all the quality professionals or organizations, that do right things the first time and every time. That is the one single sentence which can fulfill all your quality related uh, queries and all the issues. That if you are complying on the quality parameters for the first time and every time you are following that honestly, then definitely you will reach the new heights. So
It's really
that
nice.
kind of.
Very true. Very true. I mean, basics are very important. If you're doing a right thing, that means you will be right in every part of your life. That's really great, Ms. Shushma. We had a very nice discussion with you. I hope you might be available for further discussions also. I mean,
Sure.
we would expect you to have there because you are expert in this particular field. So, a very thanks from our team and from Medical World for You India. It was nice talking to you. I hope our viewers will get a great information from this particular discussion. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Tomar, and giving me such a wonderful platform to share my opinion. And thanks a lot. Looking forward for many more. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.